Are you happy?
Alhamdulillah, I tend to think that I thought I was happy when I was working, Boon. What will make me more happier is if I can leave this country in better hands.
Bagi tahu pada audience kat sana kenapa rakyat masih perlu memilih YB, Setiawangsa itu di mana saja, dan kenapa kena pilih Pakatan Harapan ataupun Keadilan.
Well, di Setiawangsa saya ingat rekod saya jelas, yang mana saya cuba menjadi wakil untuk semua yang ada di sana, rentas kaum, rentas agama, malah rentas parti, dan saya pun ada kehadiran yang baik di kawasan, servis yang baik, dan cuba menyuarakan isu-isu yang relevan di parlimen secara konsisten. So my hope is that warga Setiawangsa dapat continue untuk bagi kepercayaan kepada saya.
Kita nak ambil.
Sokong hari Arafah ya.
Betul.
Bagus tuan. Biasanya lupa puasa sunat esok, itu lah banyak-banyak macam kita juga berada di Arafah. Kita pertamanya yang very acute ni kita minta dilegakan lah kehidupan kita ya.
Okay.
Mudahkan urusan kehidupan kita ni, jauhkan daripada segala balak namanya penyakit ini ya. Dan lantaran daripada itu mungkin kita akan dapat pulihkan kehidupan kita yang lain ya, ekonomi kita, pendidikan kita. Dan kita minta juga supaya politik kita juga berlaku aman, dan kalau berlaku transisi semula berlaku dengan baik, dengan keselesaan pada semua orang. Saya rasa Allah akan bagi itu doa kita ya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajma'in. Bersama saya Dr. Munawwar. Apa khabar Dr. Munawwar?
Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih.
Okey, Dr. Ahmad Munawwar daripada IMARET. Okey, hari ini kita akan bincangkan IMARET COVID-19 Relief in Malaysia bersama IMARET COVID-19 Taskforce Coordinator, none other than Dr. Ahmad Munawwar Helmi bin Salim. Okey, kita terus kepada topik kita pada malam ini. Basically kita nak share apa yang basically IMARET buat. Kalau boleh, mungkin untuk orang yang di luar sana, especially macam orang macam saya, mungkin tak berapa tahu apa IMARET. Okay. Betul ke saya pronounce, doktor?
Betul IMARET.
Okey. Boleh terangkan sikit pasal IMARET dan
Boleh. Thank you, Boon. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam. Jadi alhamdulillah, terima kasih Boon kerana menjemput saya dan mewakili IMARET juga sebagai IMARET COVID-19 Taskforce Coordinator. IMARET ataupun IMAM Response and Relief Team adalah sebuah tim, pasukan relief team under IMAM. IMAM stands for Islamic Medical Association of Malaysia, atau bahasa Melayu dia adalah Persatuan Perubatan Islam Malaysia. IMAM ditubuhkan pada tahun 1990 dan ahli dia adalah daripada doctors, nurses, sampai ke medical student for the Muslim medical fraternity. Tetapi juga ada juga non-Muslim yang juga menjadi associate members of IMAM. Under IMAM ada beberapa chapter dan IMARET adalah salah satu chapter. Dan IMARET ni fokus kepada bantuan kemanusiaan, fokus kepada medical relief, dan juga ketika disasters, dan juga bantuan kepada medical outreach kepada mereka yang marginalized communities yang kita panggil. Marginalized communities ni adalah sebenarnya mereka yang lack access or limited access kepada healthcare facilities, seperti komuniti orang asli di pedalaman, komuniti refugees di urban tapi mereka tiada status, dan juga seperti stateless seperti di Sabah contoh dia. Dan pada ketika bencana dalam dan luar negara, terutama sekali dalam negara IMARET, memang kita respon dalam perubatan, so medical, and then wash, water, sanitation and hygiene, dan juga psychosocial support. Dan ini sedikit berkenaan apa yang kami buat. Dan untuk IMARET memang kesemuanya adalah volunteers, dan volunteers dia tidak kira umur, tidak kira latar belakang, muslim non muslim, kerana untuk membantu ni bantuan kemanusiaan ni tidak mengira sesiapa saja, asalkan mereka yang memerlukan. So seperti kami ni kebanyakannya dalam bidang medical, so kita hanya bantu mereka yang memerlukan, tidak mengira latar belakang. Juga sama juga dengan volunteers kita tak kira latar belakang, asalkan hendak membantu untuk menjadi volunteers. Dan dari sudut funding, kebanyakan daripada funding kita daripada dana dermawan daripada public dan juga daripada corporate, dan kerja-kerja kemanusiaan yang IMARET telah bantu dalam negara bermula 19 hari bulan Disember 2014 ketika IMARET tubuhkan, iaitu 5 hari sebelum the worst flood that hits Malaysia ketika itu di Pantai Timur, East Coast Flood Relief. Dan sejak itu hampir setiap tahun kita bantu ketika bencana banjir di Malaysia. Ada juga bencana seperti gempa bumi di Sabah pada tahun 2015, Sungai Kim chemical spillage pada tahun 2019 tersilap saya di Pasir Gudang, Johor, dan juga pelbagai lagi krisis. Dan di luar negara kita telah hantar volunteer kita, terutamanya doctors, ketika di Cox's Bazar, iaitu ketika krisis refugee daripada Myanmar ke Cox's Bazar. Kita hantar volunteer doktor kita hampir setahun ke sana setiap 2 minggu. Ketika bencana gempa bumi dan tsunami di Palu, Indonesia, kita ada hantar volunteer doktor kita hantar 10 pasukan. Dan pada ketika ini, seperti semua sedia maklum, untuk COVID-19 sejak 16 Mac 2020, kita bantu sahabat-sahabat kita dengan sahabat-sahabat kita di Kementerian Kesihatan. Kita bantu dari sudut manpower, kita bantu dari sudut supply barang-barangan, equipment, medical, non-medical, dan juga ada kita bantu juga untuk memberi bantuan pack makanan kepada mereka yang memerlukan. So itu sedikit berkenaan apa yang IMARET lakukan. Boon.
Okay. So basically IMARET ni bawa imam lah. So the payung punya body is imam lah. Bawah tu ada IMARET, ada for marginalized ataupun community yang tak dapat, macam cakap kat Sabah ataupun stateless ke yang tak dapat akses to healthcare. Okay, kalau macam, tapi bila this is that you start off, memang start 1990 tu memang Islamic Medical is how the idea was, daripada Islamic, you must be a team of same, ataupun is that in certain sense ada block orang lain untuk join because you Islamic team je. But you also macam bila tolong semua orang, just that the group tu under Islamic banner lah, Islamic Medical Association Malaysia. So in certain sense, kalau yang orang ada religion people, they can only be associate member je lah. Betul.
So IMAM started 1990. Basically pada ketika itu memang IMAM just a small medical fraternity among the Muslim medical fraternities. Dan IMAM banyak kita adakan conference, kita adakan discussion. Ini kadang-kadang kena fiqh medicine, for example pasal vaccination, pasal berkhatan. So a few of fiqh medicine yang discussion. So along the lines ada juga volunteers, ada juga imam members yang involved in humanitarian relief work. tapi not as from IMAM, tapi kita join for example Mesin Malaysia pada ketika itu ditubuhkan seperti itu. Cuma pada tahun 2014, actually sebelum 2013, kita me and my friends waktu tu banjir Kemaman sebenarnya 2013, dalam kawan-kawan kita dalam IMAM, mostly the young doctors, waktu tu banjir agak teruk Kemaman dan Kuantan, dan kita nak bantulah sebab kita ada sedikit kepakaran sedikit berkenaan medical, so kita nak bantu dari sudut membantu mereka waktu tu terlibat dalam banjir. Selepas 2014, kita tahu ada kita rasa akan ada another banjir, so that is when we form a team under IMAM itself, which is called IMAM Response and Relief Team. Kita bincang-bincang, the unique malam tu kita bincang, saya ingat ni kita bincang dalam WhatsApp je among our friends ni, kita bincang apa kita nak namakan team ni, tapi kita dah tahu dah kerja kita adalah kita akan provide mobile clinic waktu banjir ni lah. Waktu kita bincang-bincang, so kita decide okay lah, kita namakan nama team ni IMARET, IMAM Response and Relief Team. Esok pagi kita cari Google lah, masuk IMARET, IMARET. Dalam Wikipedia, IMARET ni basically zaman Osmaniyah dulu, Khalifah Osmaniyah, bermaksud charity, soup kitchen pada zaman tu. Waktu tu orang tak tahu pun, kebetulan IMARET ni bermaksudnya tu.
So dalam bahasa Turki ke tu?
Exactly, dalam bahasa Turki, ya.
Dalam Turki, IMARET tu masuk soup kitchen lah, you helping the needy lah. Okay. So basically you are part of the team yang basically found IMARET lah in that sense.
Yeah.
So before this, IMAM just go through the existing NGO macam Mercy, probably.
Yeah. Kadang-kadang mereka correct, ada join as individuals or join other NGOs. Tapi IMAM itself tak ada relief team. So when we started IMARET ni, it's mostly kita nak spread the spirit of volunteerism among the IMAM members. But of course IMARET itself when we started pun, it's not just IMAM members. Kita start, kita nak bantu as the principle is macam mana kita nak bantu orang yang sakit, kita tak kira latar belakang, just the needs that we as long as there is needs. Sama juga dengan kawan-kawan yang kita sama-sama bantu ni, tak kira imam members or associate members, asalkan mereka want to volunteer, they can be IMARET volunteers.
Alright, just ada soalan daripada Sufi Fauzi. Mercy Malaysia dan IMARET ni any difference? So we might expect that IMARET is better than Mercy. Not better tak boleh dah kata, probably different tu boleh lah.
Yeah, so
different between Mercy. Mungkin bulan sabit ke, so is there any that you probably have certain niche that you know?
Yeah, so currently pun kita work with a lot, IMARET, Mercy Malaysia, and Malaysian Relief Agency, MRCS. Even IMARET, Mercy and MRA, kita form a consortium yang kita bantu. We form a consortium where we got the funds from Qatar Fund for Development to help the refugees. So what we do is kita ada klinik, static clinic like a GP, tapi kita coordinate with all our brothers or from other NGOs. So for example, IMARET, kita ada klinik dekat Johor Southern, then Mercy ada dekat Ampang and Kajang, and then another one, IMARET ada one clinic at Selayang, and then MRA ada clinic in Kedah. So the work of the relief work ni in Malaysia itself pun banyak. So it's not we are complementing each other lah to help, especially this COVID-19 pun many works has to be done. Then we focus and coordinate among our NGOs, other medical NGOs, including MRCS juga bulan sabit. For example, for the vaccination program for the bedridden, kita ada coordination among the NGOs, termasuk another one is National Cancer Society. So what we do is in Klang Valley where we started, the NGO cover each district. So each district tu ada one NGO yang cover. So IMARET cover this district, and then MRCS cover a few district, Mercy Malaysia cover a few districts. So the work is a lot. So when we have many NGOs helping out, we can reduce the burden.
That to me, that is a very noble thing. It's not easy for you to doing the work, etc. Kalau you dapat bergabung, that is very good lah. That you coordinate, because macam kan kerja tu banyak sangat. Cuma satu je benda yang I tak berapa faham lah from all your explanation. Mungkin you ada pasang juga I tengok the poster, you overwork and underpaid lah. But yet but you can find time doing all this unpaid work lagi. Udahlah underpaid, you pergi unpaid work lagi. Maksudnya dah terlebih kerja lagi buat kerja-kerja macam ni. So how do you find that the contradictory, you know? you get me? Udahlah, I mean, so I cannot faham the mathematics that you. Udahlah, penat kerja. I know the people are very tired out there. So I don't know whether is it from the same people or who's they helping. You know? Is it okay? I know that the people in the yang menolong ni daripada medical line lah, is ada nurses, doctors, whatnot, you know. So is this the same doctor yang bekerja in the front, on the front line, bila dia off dia tolong volunteer pula, or is it different? You know, I thought they really need some rest, that's why you come in. You know, I thought kalau orang yang sama buat, udahlah dah penat lagi kena buat volunteer lagi dah pening.
Yeah, so basically probably I'll divide into two lah. Even our work in IMARET pun, we have two categories. Number one is the one who volunteers. Dia memang volunteers on the ground. For example, volunteer buat vaccination, or volunteer at CAC, COVID assessment centers, volunteer buat testing. Ada yang volunteer buat mobile clinic dekat orang asli. Ada volunteer buat mobile clinic for the refugees. Ada yang di Sabah. So these are the people yang memang when they have the time to do it, then and sometimes they find the time, they took leave, annual leave to volunteer. So these are the volunteers yang memang do the field work lah on the ground. There's also another group of volunteers help out to manage the organisation. IMAM itself, ataupun Islamic Medical Association of Malaysia, IMAM itself is the ex-hosts are all mostly from medical background. Mostly are doctors, and then they are also volunteers to be part of the IMAM ESCO. And similarly for IMARET too, most of us from medical fraternity, and all of us volunteers, and then we have chief coordinator, I'm the secretary general, and then we volunteer also to manage the back end work for IMARET. We crowdfund, we cari duit, kita do all the volunteer management. Of course, we have few staff to help us, tapi the expos are all volunteers. So for me myself, I it's both lah. So I volunteer on the ground, and also kita bantu juga nak manage IMARET lah. So your question just now, how do you find time? It's actually how do you make time lah sebenarnya. And then kita ni 24 jam Allah bagi. Jam tu sebenarnya dia ada beza waktu jam dengan masa. Masa ni kita mungkin ada 1 jam, tapi setengah orang 1 jam tu sekejap je. Masa tu sekejap bagi dia. Tapi mungkin setengah orang dia ada 10 minit saja, tapi 10 minit tu lama masa dia sebab sangat bernilai untuk apa yang dilakukan. So yang dari segi masa begitulah, selagi kita nak buat something, insyaAllah I've always hold the principle is, kalau kita nak bantu orang, insyaAllah Allah akan pemudahkan jalan. Dari segi me personally, dari segi the organisation. For example, I want to help, I don't have time. InsyaAllah, if you ikhlas nak bantu, Allah cari dia masa. Bagi kita masa untuk bantu. Because nak bantu ni, and I've always mentioned to the volunteers on field, kita nak bantu orang ni pun rezeki. Allah hantar orang kat kita untuk bantu. Itu satu ujian dan itu juga satu rezeki. Bukan senang. Bukan semua orang terpilih untuk diberi rezeki untuk membantu. Itu satu rezeki. sama juga rezeki masa tu is sangat bernilai lah untuk kita bantu orang. Sama juga dalam organisation pun, dalam IMARET banyak kali lah, and then it's not one time, many times yang bila kita nak start a project, for example this COVID-19 for example, 16 March 2020, waktu tu we have nothing, our fundings was zero, tapi I've said to our colleagues, to the team, I said kita ni number one in times, waktu tu I remember memang waktu tu sangat-sangat havoc. Kita nak beli mask pun waktu tu mahal, ingat tak pun? Mahal, berebut, even orang on panic buy, we don't know what's happening. Orang tak tahu waktu tu, tak tahu MCO ke tidak apa semua. Mask waktu tu memang expensive, I still remember. Tapi during that time, that critical moment yang when we are in a crisis, when we are in darkness, when people are basically trying to save themselves lah, survival mode. Tapi that critical time that we have to show the people, we have to show the rakyat yang we have to be the light that shines the way. We have to show the rakyat, we have to spread the kindness that who we are as a Malaysian. During that time, semua orang dah panik, tak tahu nak buat apa sebab this is COVID-19, tiba-tiba banyak kes apa semua. So we started simple. Kita started dengan ada few funders, kita even buat fundraising sikit-sikit. Then kita start bagi makanan dekat frontliners. So it was the first time ada orang bagi makanan. After that kita bagi, the needs was during that time macam aircon, meja, kursi, kipas. So that time juga alhamdulillah kita dapat bantuan kerjasama dengan IMARET GUI Ambassador waktu tu, Bibi Yusof. Dia bantu kita untuk fundraising. So alhamdulillah, I think in few weeks time pun dia dapat sampai 1 million. We didn't imagine dapat sampai 1 million. So during that time, what I meant, waktu tu kita sangat-sangat, kita tak ada apa-apa pun, tapi kita just niat nak tunjukkan kepada Malaysian yang this is what we are lah actually. So after that yang alhamdulillah kita dapat bantulah until today. Alhamdulillah.
So okay, so at one time, so do you have how does it work? Macam dia dah register, so how do you know who's siapa yang volunteer ni, siapa yang available that you can assign, ataupun you got a group, okay, we need say 20 people here, 10 people there, and how long? So there must be a that they are at any time at your disposal ke, ataupun macam mana? How do I volunteer?
Okay, so basically how we have been doing is that kita akan iklankan if we have a project, we have a mission, kita akan iklankan through our social media, our telegrams, we have Facebook groups, we have telegram groups for our volunteers, WhatsApp group for our volunteers. Kita akan advertise when we need volunteers. So this started way before this, since 2014, 2015 lagi. So when we have that, kita akan keep on adding volunteers coming in to help. And then during missions, disasters ni akan adalah yang bantu. Dan during juga non-disaster periods macam for outreach for orang asli, outreach for refugees, akan ada volunteer. So the database tu bertambah-tambah. And then like I've said, kita punya mission deployment ni mostly volunteer based. So if kita nak send a mission yang for example 4-man mission pun for example, we need sebab tak semua orang yang available. So because of that, from the database we have currently about 2,000 plus I think volunteers in our database. So kita akan blast to them siapa boleh join. So that pool of volunteers yang very crucial lah to help us in any disaster ke, in any mission when we want to deploy, mereka akan respons lah. And then usually sama juga, bila kita iklan in our social media, Facebook ke apa, akan ramai lah orang register. It's a simple link, Google form link yang anyone can register. When they have registered, they are in our database. Then after that, what happened is each mission kita ada berapa orang diperlukan, kita ada the task and roles that assign, and then because of that kita nak specific, because yang kita akan kita tak naklah sesuatu mission, for example kita perlukan doctors 2 orang, and then nurses 2 orang, then kita perlu general volunteers juga a few 4 orang. So kita akan betul-betul berdasarkan tu supaya kita optimize our manpower lah when we do the mission. And of course before the mission tu kita ada training for them online dan juga on site lah, then they know their roles. So alhamdulillah lah, especially for the past 4-5 months during this COVID-19 ni, response ni memang sangat-sangat ramai lah response. I think we had more than 700 people helping us out. And then this hardcore volunteers ni, the heart of gold lah, I'll tell you. They volunteer at the CAC. CAC ni is a COVID assessment center. Tempat yang patient positif datang and they're gonna be assessed kalau masuk hospital atau boleh duduk rumah. So memang diorang ni memang high risk tempat lah CAC ni. Tapi we have these volunteers come in day out almost every day for the past 3-4 months. And then diorang kadang-kadang memang they ada yang ada jobs, sometimes they work from home, sometimes memang they can find time. Tapi ada juga yang unemployed, memang tak ada kerja, especially during pandemic. And because of that, they find themselves to find, instead of duduk rumah je tak buat apa, so they want to volunteer. But I tell you, it's very inspiring. I come down, I see these volunteers, I tell them kenapa nak datang. It's a high risk punya volunteering work. You have to wear PPEs in hours dengan panasnya, tapi kenapa nak datang? And then one answer said, I just want to be part of the history. I just want to help lah, and I just want to save lives. So these are the people yang inspire me to do what I do lah. You said, Boon, just now, kenapa dengan unpaidnya, dengan understaffnya, I still do. And yes, I think Borak tadi pun cakap doing my masters juga. Because in life ni kita it's very short, and then kita nak sehabis mungkin lah kita gunakan masa kita. Ada 3 je benda yang bawa kat mati, salah satunya amal kita kan. So hopefully dengan this a bit of amal yang kita buat ni, insyaAllah kita cubalah boleh bawa kemudian hari, insyaAllah.
Tapi kalau macam setengah volunteer, sorry, tak tahu, mungkin setengah orang tu dia mungkin apa tu, you don't provide any like basic transportation allowance ke? Kalau setengah tu ada logistik, do you pay for them, or they must be, takkan all the volunteers kena bond, kena bear, which is no. So yeah, is there any allowance? So what's the difference with that's one for any assignment you bagi, ataupun you kena keluar your own pocket money for your food, logistic, transportation, over and above everything else?
Yeah, so right nowadays kita ada bagi bit of token for our volunteers, at least per day, few ni lah, dalam adalah sedikit, at least for them to their transport, and then kalau makan minum tu usually memang supported lah at these places. Tapi for example missions yang jauh-jauh tu memang we support lah, in terms of logistic and then accommodations. That one if we deploy missions yang macam Cox's Bazar ke, Indonesia ke, and then Sabah or elsewhere yang memang perlukan deployment outside, so itu memang kita bantulah. Tapi like macam currently, like you said, macam our volunteers for the past 4-5 months datang CAC Stadium Melawati tu yang handle thousands of patients, sampai one time 4,700 patients. Our volunteers ni memang hari-hari datang. I remember it was 12 Julai, 4,400 orang datang. Malam tu, the night before that, our volunteers tolong bantu dekat luar CAC Stadium Melawati tu. Sampai malam, dia susun kerusi. Sebab kita expect esok ramai, tapi kita tak expect seramai 4,400. Waktu tu pecah rekod Malaysia lah. Satu tempat je, satu CAC. Dan volunteer kita malam tu dia dah susun kursi apa semua dekat kemah. And then that morning, apparently kita ada 2 CAC, satu kat Stadium Melawati, another one kita set up, the new one kita help up dekat Kelang pun, the new one, the first day was 1,500, 1,800 attendance. So we had to with the volunteers pun kena berpecah. Pagi tu I still remember, kira ada about I think less than 18 of us to help out the crowd there. Of course kita ada ramai lagi lah the KKM staff, tapi most of them akan bantu seeing patients, doctors apa semua. But the main majority of our volunteers ni bantu dekat crowd control. Imagine the 4,000 people tu dekat luar tu nak memang sampai berkilometer tu dengan nak tengok siapa yang sakit teruk, siapa yang pengsan. So that was an experience yang waktu tu tengok each one of them tu, I said to them, look, we can do this insyaAllah. Today is where you guys are the part of the history lah, to help what we are today. So alhamdulillah 4,500 that day. The next day until peak was 4,700 attendance. And these volunteers, they datang lagi, penat apa semua, balik sama malam. Itu one time tu, the first day tu habis, I think tak silap sampai pukul 7 malam, 7 petang. Next day datang lagi pagi, 7:45 datang briefing, orang sama. And then ada datang lagi. So again lah, these people are very inspirational lah. I mean me personally, I was there, I would see their faces. And then diorang ni pun ada yang tak kira latar belakang. Ada yang students, ada yang tak kerja, ada yang dah senior, and then background sebab this one the roles tak perlu sangat medical, we majority are non-medical. So we have pilots, my team leader Syed Faiz Dabus, my batchmate jugalah, Owan juga. So he helped out lah to lead the team. So he's a captain pilot and then we have engineers, accountants, many from different backgrounds, students, to help out lah. So it was very inspirational lah, I mean personally for me.
So IMARET pun they have the medical and non-medical punya volunteers lah. I thought it's all supposed to be medical volunteers. Tak.
Betul, we have medical and also non-medical, and all depends on the mission lah. There are certain mission where we need medical, more medical teams. For example, like doing vaccination, yang mencocok tu of course lah nak doktor, nurses. Tapi at the same time, we need non-medical volunteers juga nak help out to the registration, to do the mapping, to do all the wiki, the locations apa semua. So we need everyone. Even though it's our main focus is for medical missions.
I see. So I thought I heard apa tu macam KKM pun they have their own volunteer, right? Macam, so how do you manage that? I thought macam dia ada buka, okay, KKM kata dia orang pun ada dia punya own volunteers. Kadang-kadang you nampak iklan tu kat TV. So you pun ada punya volunteer. So how do you manage, or you talk to must be one chief guy who coordinate everything, otherwise you cannot memandai-mandai buat ini kan. I mean, so how you work with that?
So all along for our missions, not just COVID-19, since before this pun kita akan collaborate dengan CPRC. CPRC ni Crisis Preparedness Center in KKM. So memang betul, they are the ones yang coordinate the volunteers, and then when we deploy is kita akan coordinate with the KKM CPRC lah, and then for the past 1 year plus ni, there are many NGOs juga apart from the KKM punya staff jugalah. So KKM sebenarnya minta bantuan from NGOs jugalah to help out. So the coordination is from CPRC, and on the ground there will be the lead on the ground pun juga will be from the KKM staff.
Okay, so basically IMARET is doing quite all sort of thing. I thought you just focus on the outreach program where you help those yang cannot go to the center ke, you pergi to the bedridden people. And I thought macam, I don't know whether you kenal Hakim under Red Crescent, dia pun doing that thing. Some people they're working. So you basically going everything lah. outreach, jaga center. So anything that you need, so you will supply lah, that kind of thing. This is very cool.
Yeah, so macam that one that was saying too, it's a program coordinated by KKM and Protect Health, where it's a mobile vaccination program for the bedridden. So it's few NGOs helping out. We start at Klang Valley and now we're moving to other states juga. Like I said just now, kita coordinate among the NGOs. This NGO will cover few district, this NGO will cover few district. So memang sama-sama lah dengan MRCS, Hakim as Secretary General for MRCS. So itu pun kita tolong, and right now pun even at the states kita bantu. For example dekat di Kelantan pun kita dah start, kita cover one district, Mercy will cover another district, MRCS will cover another district, and also similarly pun kita ada bantu currently for orang asli jugalah. So last 2 weeks last 2 weeks kita coordinate sama-sama. We have MRCS juga, Mercy help out dekat Batang Padang, PKD Batang Padang, Tapah, where we masuk sama-sama lah untuk outreach for the orang asli punya community.
Ini ada Sophie tanya, this your good friend good? Your fan. Siapa? So your daughter, the only one, huh? Anak perempuan, berapa?
2.
Huh? So that's the youngest. Huh?
Yeah, youngest, 5 years old.
5 years old. Yang eldest?
Eldest 8.
8, okay. Ini Safi tanya, Sufi Fauzi. Mengenai IMARET boleh terus memikat hati para sukarelawan untuk kekal bersama IMARET. Walaupun tugas sukarelawan di lapangan sangat mencabar. What's your battle cry for the volunteer? Ada battle cry ya?
Tak ada battle cry lah. Actually, and this is personally for me. When I started, kita volunteer ni mula-mula it's our passion, kita minat lah. It's beyond our work in our clinic, beyond our hospital walls. Something yang kita jumpa passion tu yang kita tak pernah nampak lah in our clinic. So for me, kerja hakiki dia adalah sebagai sports doctor. So I cannot stay in one place dekat klinik. I have to go on field. Memang dekat me personally ni tak boleh lah duduk diam kat klinik. So memang kena keluar on field. Memang kita jiwa tak boleh duduk diam di klinik. So kita start dengan passion, minat kita. But then as we go along for the past few years ni, and then helping out IMARET, leading the teams. For me, it's more of a responsibility lah. I think the more I do, the more I think there's more work need to be done. The more I see people suffering, the more we see the communities out there need help, the more that we need help. We need to help them. So I usually personally, it's kalau bukan kita, siapa lagi? That is my personal personal cry lah. But I always say to the volunteers, so kita ni bukan semua orang lah diberi peluang untuk volunteer. So once kita dapat peluang tu, kita rezeki tu kita buatlah sebaiknya. For COVID-19 ni memang ramai lah volunteers yang I really respect them.
Dia sama juga macam I penampak, is it same? Is it Doctors Without Borders? Is it the same arrangement or ataupun but dia is it worldwide macam Doctors Without Borders ada you pernah dengar benda tu?
Yeah. So Doctors Without Borders is an international NGO which call their formal official name is MSF, Medicine Sans France. So there's an international NGO yang dah lama lah doing medical humanitarian work. They are alongside ICRC juga. They do similarly do medical relief work around the globe, and then each country they have their own missions lah. So dekat even Even in Malaysia ada MSF team dekat Penang where they set up the clinic for the refugees in Penang. Similarly lah, our work is focused providing medical relief to the marginalized community, the ones who lack access, and of course during disasters too. So MSF lagi a big international NGO lah. They even have a seat in the UN as well. Macam ICRC lah. So for us when we started ni pun kita banyak bantu dekat local because kita ramai kawan-kawan, semuanya kita punya kawan-kawan kan in the medical fraternity daripada Perlis sampai ke Sabah. Jadi bila kita nak bantu tu mudah lah sebab kita pun semua sama-sama kerja kat klinik, kerja kat hospital. We know what is needed on field, we know in terms of manpower, in terms of equipment, resources, and we are basically helping out our colleagues around Malaysia. When there is a need, kita bantu, then at the same time kita bantu the patients and the rakyat lah as a whole.
Okay, sorry, just nak tanya soalan yang a bit out of selfish, bit more on the COVID-19. So from your observation dengan situation on the ground and probably so how do you see whether we have enough resources, whether betul ke the frontliners ni dah burn out dengan the work that they have to go, you still have more energy to really win the battle of I don't know, because of course we sebagai outsiders we just pray for you lah. I mean nothing much we can help, where we can help we try to help in that sense lah. So dengan dengan this now, I don't know whether we have more variants, some new variants now yang the prevalent more probably Delta variant lah, which is more infectious and deadlier in certain sense. Walaupun setengah tu dah ada vaksin pun masih lagi ada yang breakthrough kind of cases pun banyak agak lagi. So it's a bit worrying agak lah. I mean frontliners lagi lah. You expose yourself by choice in that sense. I can choose to stay at home. So sekarang macam mana? Are we under control sekarang? I nampak tadi I thought dah drop a bit about 15,000 for the first time. So are we on track? The whole COVID-19 management, I don't know. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so apart from leading the IMARET team, I'm also part of the Greater Klang Valley Special Taskforce team member. I was in the CAC and home monitoring clusters. I'm also helping out the states juga lah. In terms of our country, if you look Greater Klang Valley, bit better. We don't look at the cases sebenarnya. Kita look at the bed capacity, ICU capacity, ventilators. So kalau kita tengok bulan 7, bulan 8 tu Greater Klang Valley ni memang sangat-sangat teruk lah, sampai tak cukup oksigen. I was in CAC during time, we had to choose patient mana kita nak bagi oksigen. In the desperate time tu memang oksigen pun tak cukup. Why? Because waktu tu cases banyak, one thing, but it's the severity of the cases. And why is it severe? Because our vaccination wasn't the rate of vaccination tak tinggi sangat lah during that time. So after the Greater Klang Valley, they had the upsurge capacity more than, I think they target everyone all adult should be vaccinated by August. After that, we see the reduce in not the cases sebenarnya yang kita nak tengok, tapi the reduce in what you call bed occupancy rate, BOR. So katil kita makin cukup, ICU makin cukup. So itu yang kita nak tengok. Kita dulu kita sibuk, kita mention banyak pasal flatten the curve kan. Flatten the curve. Flatten the curve tu sebenarnya maksud dia, kita nak flat the curve ni supaya they don't cross this one line which is called the healthcare capacity. So we want to the curve tu, kita want to flatten it. Bila they cross the healthcare capacity, that is when it happened to Greater Klang Valley. What happened in India, in Italy, in Spain, when people tak cukup katil, tak cukup oksigen, tak cukup ventilator. So we cross that healthcare capacity line, and that is where kita banyak kali mention we want to flatten the curve. To do that, waktu tu the strategy was to increase the vaccination rate in the hope that kita akan vaccination ni akan kurangkan severity of the cases. People will get infected but it's mild. Kita nampak walaupun ada orang kena vaccinated, tapi it's mild. Mungkin tak ada simptom pun at all. Compare dengan orang tak vaksin langsung. Yang itu yang ada Cat 3, Cat 4 sampai Cat 5 sampai meninggal. So that is the function of the vaccines. That we already seen the effect in Greater Klang Valley. Why I keep stressing Greater Klang Valley? Because Greater Klang Valley saja yang betul-betul yang they push during the surge capacity to increase the vaccination rate. But but in the meantime during that time tu kita push, tapi vaccination it takes time, 2 weeks, 1 month even. So right now we are seeing the result lah. That's why it's not just the bed occupancy rate or the ICUs, tapi right now pun even the cases pun dah start coming down. But but during that time we had to hold the fort lah. Kita patient ramai banyak sangat, tapi the vaccination takes time. So sebab tu yang the Greater Klang Valley Special Taskforce ni increase katil banyak, increase oxygenation capacity, kita bantu, kita volunteers kita tambah manpower, we train the non-medical pun to help out. So that was when kita hold the fort, and right now it's getting better. The good thing about Greater Klang Valley, there were many resources. Ada banyak hospital government and banyak hospital private juga. But if it happens to other states, it will be difficult. One thing we are seeing now is not just the cases, but increase in increase in beds needed, increase in ICU needed, ICU beds needed. Dekat other states, for example, Penang, and then Johor, and then Kelantan, when there are increase in cases, and then when the vaccination rate is not as high, and that is when we have patients who we really go into severe COVID category 4, 5 that need oxygen and ventilators. So the difficult part is all these other states, and then including Sabah. So the difficult part is all these other states. The resources tu tak sebanyak macam Greater Klang Valley. Greater Klang Valley banyak hospital, private hospital, so we can decant all this is non-COVID to all this private hospital, and then public hospital cater the COVID patients. Tapi so all this
capacity wise, what percentage our capacity as compared to the patient? Is it 80%, 90% that we still is it you consider ICU capacity yang bahaya? The hospital capacity lah. Where are we? Greater Klang Valley, or ada yang dah cross that border ke? Where they cannot cater?
So in Greater Klang Valley at one time it was more than 100%.
Wow, okay.
Or most of the hospital pun more than 100%. But how they increase lah. And we have the MAEPS kan PKRC, that was the buffer lah, where thousands of patients can stay there. Before this, even category 1, category 2 masuk hospital. Tapi category 1, category 2 mild pun duduk rumah. Category 3 saja pergi PKRC. So that was a strategy yang even the positive pun duduk rumah. Kita tak mampu dah nak semua orang masuk PKRC or MAEPS. So that was a strategy, ramai cases tapi kita priority yang severe cases. But right now, the issue is for other states that I was mentioning just now, dia punya cases tu increase, dan bila vaccination tu not up to par, vaccination rate tak setinggi yang kita harapkan, itu yang kita risaukan, yang akan patient yang akan dapat COVID, tapi yang kita risaukan yang dapat severe COVID. Kalau patient macam for example in Klang Valley, walaupun ada cases pun, tapi mostly are already vaccinated. So the cases yang akan jadi severe COVID tu kurang lah compared to other states yang vaccination pun tak tinggi sangat, tapi cases tinggi, and the resources, the healthcare capacity pun tak sebanyak mana. So yang itu yang kita risaukan for other states lah for now.
Sorry, saya tanya soalan yang tak berapa related to your work.
Ya, silakan.
Soalan ni agak tak berapa related tapi mungkin related sikit-sikit lah, more medical. So kata kalau orang yang dah kena COVID tu, common sense dia mesti dah ada that natural antibody tu dah develop ataupun dia dah dapat. So perlukah orang macam ni, ambil vaksin lagi? Is it that natural tu lebih bagus pada vaksin? I mean some logic fikiran tu lah. Especially yang anti-vaxxer yang tak ambil. Dia kata aku dah kena dah. I mean in Malaysian context dah ada about 2 million, yang almost 2 million lah yang dah kena COVID. So can they choose not to take?
The answer is we don't know.
Okay.
And then there's kita pun baru lagi, even vaksin pun baru lagi. Kita pun tak tahu that there's newer data saying that berapa lama pun kita punya vaksin last. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, or lepas ni kena third booster ke?
Booster.
So the answer kita pun tak tahu. We are still doing more research in that. Tapi what we know is when you are vaccinated, it's proven that you reduce the severity of cases if you kena COVID. Tapi adakah orang dah kena vaksin tu dia ada antibody apa semua? Again, we have not much data on that yet. But we know that take your vaccines even though you dah pernah kena COVID, because we do not know how much is the antibody in you that can fight another attack of secondary infection of COVID-19. So what we know is that alhamdulillah that we've seen that the vaccine works. It really helps, and people like us yang volunteer on the ground, it's very, very traumatic lah, I can say. Traumatic in the sense that not just us, is the frontliners. Kita bukan tengok patient tu mati tu kadang-kadang biasa. Ada hospital tu mayat tu satu malam dekat ward tu, sebab dah banyak yang sakit, oksigen tak cukup, sampaikan the ice cold containers untuk mayat pun tak cukup. So kena in between patient tu ada mayat. Bayangkan that trauma of the frontliners. And hari-hari patient yang kita tengok, for me personally, kita orang banyak kat sisi sudah melawati lah. Ramai sangat. Yang one thing yang orang tak perasan, this COVID-19 ni bukan saja it cause patients yang teruk lah. Daripada sihat tiba-tiba dapat sesak nafas apa semua, sampai masuk ICU, sampai kena intubate. It's not just the severity of the cases, tapi juga family terpaksa berpisah. I think that one ramai orang tak nampak. Patient ada mak dia dekat ICU, ayah dia dekat hospital, anak dia tak ada orang jaga kat rumah. Ada yang sampai kesudah, mak dia ayah dia kat hospital, dan sampai kesudah sampai meninggal, tapi tak dapat jumpa. COVID ni dia separate, literally separate the families and the people lah. And then kita pun tak tahulah, kita pun tak sebab we were busy handling patients clinically kan, tengok patient, kita lupa nak tengok dia punya psychosocial support, dia punya financial support, which is banyak sangat sebenarnya. And then this is indirectly yang bunuh diri sebab financial issues because of the MCO or whatnot. I think the learning point for us is that kita betul-betul kena jagalah. I mean, we had that chance sebelum we had the third wave, even before the April yang the cases rise tinggi tu. Before that tu cases tak banyak sangat, cases pun dah start kurang. Tapi kita terlepas peluang tu, and then because of that hundreds and thousands of people die lah. And kita dengar pun ramai pun, even bukan orang lain pun, kita punya keluarga-keluarga pun, friends, families yang because kita kata collateral damage in this war lah, sadly.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Of course we can go on banyak banyak lagi macam yalah, ini satu yang geng-geng dia tak suka panggil anti-vaxxer, dia panggil pro-safe. Ataupun dia kata macam mana, pro-safe ke ataupun natural antibody ke ataupun I'm not sheep lah. So how do you to talk to this kind of people lah?
Yeah,
one liner for them.
It's ramai lah, and then it's ramai je lah cakap COVID ni is real. Then personally for us, we've seen it in front of our eyes. Memang it's not just getting COVID tu severe waktu tu saja. Even when you recover from COVID pun, kita ada number a syndrome called long COVID. So you get complications of that, and then it can be we tak tahu, sampai sekarang kita tahu probably lifelong pun. So if possible kita tak nak lah kena. If kita kena pun it's not severe sampai causes your lungs to scar and whatnot. Then it sampai ada juga yang kena be on oxygen, lifelong oxygen, sampai ada yang kena dialysis after COVID. So COVID ni bukan just kena dan baik macam flu ke apa. Dia ada yang ramai bila kena teruk tu sampai lifelong. Ada yang stroke. So if possible tak nak kena. Kita ni kalau kita Muslim, kita nampak ada Allah dah bagi kita ni kan jalan, kita usaha lah, kita usaha dan kita ikhtiar, kita tawakal. Dan sebaik-baiknya kita mencegah lah daripada terkena. So vaksin ni salah satu, dalam makasih pun is number one, pelihara nyawa kan. So I think there is no other reason lah why you shouldn't. It's tak tahulah. I mean personally I have no idea kenapa tak nak. Tapi kita is there any medical justification for not taking vaccine? Is it macam kalau orang kena cancer they can, I don't know, is there any medical reason for you not to take vaccine? Yeah, there is some contraindications. Sometimes ada yang contraindications yang macam tadilah, immune suppress, yang tak boleh ambil, ada a few of medical illness yang contraindication cannot take the vaccines lah. Severe allergies, even severe allergy pun right now pun boleh, tapi in a control situation. So ada a few medical condition yang tak boleh, tapi very few. And because of that, like with any other vaccines, that is why they have the term of herd immunity. Sebab you want to protect the herd immunity 80%. You want to protect the 20% yang memang tak boleh ambil vaksin. So the 80% tu yang akan melindungi dia. So that is why ada yang certain yang memang medically tak boleh ambil, kita tak boleh lah. Tapi the ones yang boleh ambil ini, kita sepatutnya ambil lah. And especially right now, kita tak tahu, our children tak boleh ambil lagi vaksin. Kita tak tahu. Right now pun boleh ambil pun teenagers kan. Tapi our children younger, my daughters 9 years old, 5 years old pun tak boleh ambil vaksin. We should protect them when we are being selfish kalau kita tak. Sebab they probably, kita tak tahu, datang memang tak boleh ambil vaksin terus. So we have to build the herd immunity to protect our children. So I think that is why sebenarnya bukan yang 80%, 100% adult memang semua kena vaksin supaya the children are protected. So kalau tak, sampai bila nak pergi sekolah pun tak boleh, sebab nanti diorang pula kena infected, diorang pula kena. So I think it's very selfish of you lah if you tak kesiankan anak-anak ni lah.
Betul. That's the word. That's the thing, not pasal anak kita, pasal orang lain. I mean, you cannot be helping or at CAC or whatnot. So why cannot you just play your part, the small part dekat situ. I mean, kalau dia kata I want to do my own research, they're not doing their research macam Trevor Noah. Basically you're just reading from internet. It's somebody else research or somebody else, so how you verify that? So sorry, ini just bagi Dr. Zul Ilham, probably that's your friend. Apakah Dr. Munawwar berpendapat akses rakyat Malaysia ke program vaksinasi sudah cukup baik? adakah pencapaian kita di peringkat antarabangsa memuaskan secara negara maju? Of course, we were quite worse at one point, but now 18 September, where are we in terms of vaccination, in terms of handling, in terms of capacity?
Yeah, I think right now after the surge capacity, especially in Klang Valley, kan Klang Valley ni majority of population pun ramai kat Klang Valley, and it's populated. And waktu tu the strategy was untuk kawalan wabak. Maksud dia initially memang kita nak buat semua ikut phases, but then because kita tak sempat, tiba-tiba datang the Delta variant banyak dekat Klang Valley, so we want to vaccine as much as possible dekat Klang Valley. And that's when kita banyak sangat kita buat vaccination rate. Even our vaccination rate at one time memang sangat tertinggi lah, top in the world pun even. So in terms of antarabangsa memuaskan, yes, of course, but that is in terms of numbers. If you do, if you for example, if you go dekat curug-curug pedalaman tu, ramai lagi yang tak vaccinated. So at one time right now, kita dah tepu sebab kita dah dapat vaksin mereka seramai mungkin in the urban areas. Tapi at the rural areas, that is yang kita kena pertingkatkan lah. Sama juga like all the marginalized community, yang that is where NGO like us are helping for the bedridden. Ramai, kita pun mesti buat the first dose lagi, banyak lagi. Sebab they can't come to the PPV, so we have to go to them. The orang asli communities yang jauh kat pedalaman, our team for the past few days dekat Gua Musang, as far as 50 kilometers off-road hours, misal camping dalam tu. Even the vaccine pun kena hantar dengan helikopter over there. So we go that far lah to provide access to vaccination. So kita banyak lagi have to do the work in terms of, not in terms of numbers, but in terms of the distribution. Right now, if we see the vaccination tu punya rate, Klang Valley semua dah tinggi, tapi all the other states tu yang kurang. Yang kita risaukan di states yang tengah mencanak-canak naik cases, and because of that, dan diorang ni pula reduce in healthcare capacity dia tak setinggi mana. So because of that, negeri macam Penang, Kelantan, Johor, Sabah, this kita kena provide more access and as fast as possible, because at times kita takut these states and dah nak nampak dah tanda-tanda dia jadi macam Greater Klang Valley, jadi macam apa yang kita alami few months ago, which is happening dekat all these states. Tak cukup oksigen, tak cukup katil, and because of that people dies lah, many. So menjawab soalan, alhamdulillah kita memang memuaskan, tetapi banyak lagi perlu di-improve in terms of access to other states and the rural areas dan pedalaman semua.
Okay, probably we are nearing our end. So mungkin I tahu you dah cakap tadi, you dah jawab. Tapi mungkin benda ni agak interrelated. I just want to make it amplify benda ni. What's really your source of motivation behind you doing all this thing? Bukan benda ni mungkin dia kena juga to how you understand life, you know, the meaning of life and your purpose of life. I think it's intertwined, it's a related question to some extent. What drives you to do what you're doing lah, in that sense? That's the purpose.
Yeah, I think again, like I mentioned, initially it was all a passion. I mean, what I'm doing now pun memang passion lah. I work as a doctor, sports doctor, so my passion is sports, and then on field work. Tapi at the same time, this humanitarian work ni, it's a fulfilling punya work, even though it's a volunteering saja. But at one time, I felt it's a responsibility lah for me. And pegang, memang kadang-kadang itu susah nak buat, tapi aku always pegang, kalau bukan kita, siapa lagi. Dan kadang-kadang tu agak mencabar, agak susah, tapi dalam mencabar dan susah itulah yang nikmat pahala tu, nikmat keredaan Allah tu yang kita carilah at the end of the day. So I think for me in life, we just make use of what we have, the masa yang kita sekejap ni, dan harap-harap kerja-kerja ni bukan saja saya sendiri, bukan saja our own team, tapi juga dapat inspire more people out there to do more good work, to spread. Kita ada hashtag kita viral kindness. Like when we started the COVID-19 relief ni, our intention was basically to show the rakyat, to show the people we are better than this. Then even now pun with all the havoc apa semua pun, ramai orang susah. This is where we have to show our true colours lah as nation, and then this is for us, this is how we do it, insyaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, as a fellow Malaysian, from the bottom of my heart, we thank you, IMARET, IMAM, or whoever on that front line, for doing so many things on behalf of us. We don't have to go be there, as you're risking all your life and whatever that you put on. May Allah and may God's multiply whatever that you're doing, and as a token, as asbab for you to go to Jannah. I mean, and I'm very proud. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum, and that's it, guys. Probably you can share this thing so more people can have more people like Dr. Munawwar Helmi. I think that must be very proud. Right, with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.